Comrades, welcome to a new RBMK video. In this one I will be playing Shift Supervisor. This is the same as the last time, but in this one I will be testing two new webcams to show you sketches down in a paper when I need to explain some concepts. So let's jump in. I will dismiss the video, and when the screen is cramped with panels, I will also switch off all the webcams to have more space. So let's put the alarms here and let's open the usual panels, which is Reactor, Turbine, MCP Loop 1, MCP Loop 2, Reactor Power Regulation, Main Steam Dam Control, and the schematics for the reactor and the drum for the moment being. So this will allow us to bring very quickly the power up to nominal, because now we are at 650 megawatts in the generator, which is quite low. So I will also switch the units to metric to be consistent with the Soviet Union. Sorry, it's not this. It's here. Options, units, metric. Okay, so now we see the drum is at 10,000 kilopascal, which is 10 megapascal. It is quite high, still below the set point of the steam dam, so we are not wasting any energy. Let's increase the steam dam set point to the maximum, which is 13.5 megapascal, still below. And now what we can do is to take advantage of this surplus of pressure in the drum by opening the turbine inlet valve. Usually I did this switching to manual and then manually opening the valve up to 100% bit by bit. But actually you can do this in auto also. So we keep the turbine regulation in auto. We go to the pressure set point and we switch, or we change it to 7,500 kilopascal. Okay, we press enter and we see the valve control signal. It's increasing very slowly. Before I was afraid that doing so will unsettle the system, because if you change the steam dam control in jumps of more than 500 kilopascal in once, you really unsettle the system, because the bypass valve opens and everything it's trying to catch up is too quickly of a change. While the turbine doesn't open too quickly, you see it's really slow. It's like 70.6, 71. 71.1, 71.6, so it's really slow, and you see the trends. Although they are adapting to the new situation, things become stable very quickly. So you can just do it in auto, and you see the generated load is already increasing. We're at 740. Why now is not going farther? Because we are at 75% of the nominal load of the generator, and we are at the 75% of the power set point. So we are now taking advantage of the surplus of pressure in the drum, but this will not hold for long. When we hit the 7500, it will stabilize at around 75% of generated load. So now we have to increase power in the reactor. So let's go to 80%. Let's check the trends a bit. Yeah, not much unsettling. So let's go to 85%. Check again the trends. You see reactor level increase because of more boiling. This is normal. Let's go to 90%. And I will switch to the full core. But you see the center core is already at 0% insertion. This means that even if the center core only is engaged, the center core is doing nothing because the control rods are totally withdrawn. So the center core is this matrix of 3x3 in the center. I will switch it off anyway and keep increasing power set point to 95. And you see already the generated load at 926 megawatts. We almost ran out of surplus of pressure in the drum. You see the power set point is at 7500 and the drum is at 77. So now we rely entirely of the real-time generation in the reactor. So we will go to 100% here. Newton flux catching up, 100%. Generator load, 1000 megawatts. So that's perfect. We are nominal, both in generator, neutron, and thermal. Now let's maybe open a bit more of panels because we will need them later. So feed pumps, water treatment pumps. Well, makeup I don't think I will use unless we have a faulted forces as to. Condensate. Okay, condensate I will turn on the second pump to increase efficiency and because it's the normal setting for normal operation. So if we check in the schematic, we have 2 pumps on now. We have 2 condensate pumps, 2 feed water pumps, and 2 in each loop of the recirculation of the reactor. And today we'll focus on this, on the recirculation pumps of the reactor. I will bring up a comment from Comrade Rentaco from the last video, I think, in which he suggested that the loop 2 and loop 1 is attached to the center core while the loop 2 is attached to the outer core. I'm not sure about that. That's not what I seen in the documentation I consulted concerning this. And now I will switch to the new camera that I'm testing today. So let's see if it displays correctly. I think so. Okay, so what you see are my notes here in paper. So this sketch I took out from a report from, okay, let me check the author. So this is the International Atomic Energy Agency 2016, edited by Imanaka Tetsuji, Japan editions, titled The Chernobyl Reactor Design Features and Reasons for the Accident, author Mikhail V. Malko, from the Joint Institute of Power and Nuclear Research National Academy of Science of Belarus. So, according to this document, but for sure you will find this kind of information.
Have you looked at the reactor fueling schedule?
Yes. I will refuel later. Wait 1 second. I will pause for 1 second. So, according to this note, but you will find this in many other places, this is the configuration. So you have the reactor, which is a cylinder. So this is looking from above, and there are 2 halves. This is completely symmetrical, so I will draw a symmetry line here. And hydraulically, these 2 are completely separated, so they are independent. The plumbing that goes through one doesn't mix with the other at the recirculation level. They will mix later in the condensate because it goes all to the same pool, I think. What you have are 8 MCPs, so 4 for each loop. These 4 are connected to the generator. So this label TG8, which was the generator that was in use during the Chernobyl accident test. So these were the MCPs 13, 14, 23, 24. And then you have 4 more MCPs that are connected to the bus, to the grid bus. So this depends on outside energy. And in normal operation, you will have 3 MCPs per loop on. So you will have these 4 plus these 4 in operation during nominal load of the reactor, while these 2 will be in standby, usually connected to the emergency core cooling system, ECC, emergency core cooling, ECCS, I don't know. And those 2 were connected before the accident to allow the cooling of the core after the test had finished. So just prior to the Chernobyl accident, all the 8 were pumping water, all the MCPs were on, while in normal operation you have the 4 that are usually connected to the generator bus and 2 connected to the grid. So this is slightly different of what we see in the simulator, because in the simulator we have 3 per loop and in normal operation you run 2. So I'm not really sure. 3 are equivalent to 4, so 2/3 is similar to 3/4, or 3 are actually the 3 that you run, and the standby pumps do not appear in the recirculation. But what's for sure is that we have 2 halves of the core, so the system is hydraulically symmetrical. So half of the pumps will go to one half, the other half to the other half. So I will switch this off now. Let's go back to the simulator. And this is exactly what we see in this diagram. You see the reactor scaged in 2 halves. And actually, if you look at the parameters of the flow, temperatures, you see that the two must be two symmetrical halves, because if you look at the center core and let's say surrounding core, the activity in the center is much higher, temperatures are also higher, but you don't see this in the 2 halves. Like the temperatures are sensibly equal, so 845 Celsius, 835 Celsius, and the voiding is also very similar, 22.4, 21.4. So yeah, these are 2 symmetrical halves. Okay, I will depause it, and our boss asked us to refuel, so I will address the other issue that Comrade Rentacao brought up in his comment in last video. So it seems refueling is still crashy. Let's see what can we do about it. So I will use the fuel monitor because it seems that some channels are very low already in the beginning of the simulation. We have a fuel burn up of 69%. So let's... Okay, so the first channel is at 72.1%. This is quite high. The second one at 83.2. Third one at 35. So the logic thing is to refuel this one. So we'll go ahead. As Matt PD suggested, you should wait for the fuel monitor to go to 0 or to all high stacks. I don't know how long does it take. Maybe I should click to the monitor and just leave it outside any channel. I'm not really sure. So I'm just testing these webcams. If it's not clear or anything, or it doesn't help in my explanations, you can comment down below. I will adapt in next videos. Okay, so it doesn't go to all high stacks. I will just try to refuel. If it crashes, it crashes. Yeah, it doesn't work. So I did what Comrade Rentacao advised, which is using the detector center of mass right in the middle of the radioactivity symbol. Yeah. And then I try to like extract fuel bundles. It doesn't work. I don't know. Okay, now it works. So after trying to refuel, even if it was full, it seems it fixes the bug. Okay, so channel 3 is empty. Wow, I forgot to decrease power in the reactor and we went to a neutron flux of 126. Oh my god. So for sure we got the alarms for neutron flux, high voiding, no, high fuel temperature, and I damaged a lot of bundles. Why is your neutron flux so high? Get it down, get it. Yeah, I messed up. Okay, so you see all these bundles are damaged because I forgot to decrease power set point while refueling. So you see this big spike could not be. It's strange because when you decrease power to 80%, you don't have as high of a spike. Okay, let's go to the feed water pumps and system because probably the condensate system, and let's see the conductivity. You see conductivity is going high in the drum. You see a lot of fuel spilling to the water, so let's try to fix this. I will just silence the alarms. Oh my god, I messed up. Sorry. high radioactivity levels, okay. Let's silent, let's decrease power to 90% and start replacing damaged fuel bundles. Pay attention to conductivity and to polisher 1. Why it's decreasing so much this trend?
You've got low drum level in the reactor.
Yep. Low drum level. So it seems there is a leak or something. Let's see if I can find it quickly, but I think I will not because it's decreasing very fast. I will turn on the makeup system, the 2 pumps. Probably I will turn on 1 feed water pump, but it will take me a long time because I didn't open the inlet valve before. Oh, look, the reactor is recovering. So the makeup system seems to be enough for the moment. I will open 1 inlet valve of the feed pumps, of the feed pump 3. Okay. Let's refuel. I mean, change damaged fuel bundles. Okay. So I'm not sure really there was some damage that caused some water leak related to the overheating of the fuel, or because there is so many damaged fuel channels, the power went down, and because power went down, it just decreased the level of the reactor. At the moment, I'm not sure what's going on. I need to repair the damage before it's too late. Look, conductivity is already 24%, and the polisher 1 is at 66 of usage of exhaustion. So, okay, let's try to fix the problem first, the underlying problem, and then deal with the water conductivity. Oh my god. That's a rookie mistake. I'm not used to deal with so many cameras and stuff. Okay. Only 5 more to go.
Tell me, how long are you going to operate with a bad polisher unit in service?
Yeah, you are right. Okay. You see, fuel is damaged so quickly when temperature goes up. It doesn't take even 1 second. You surpass like 900, 920 Celsius and boom, fuel damage. I guess it's the thermal expansion or something in the zirconium pellets. I mean, not zirconium pellets, uranium dioxide pellets that are shielded with zirconium. I think this mechanical assembly will break because temperature just changes so quickly that provokes... Oh, I cannot fix this one. It's bugged again. Yeah, so I guess it's more like a problem of differential expansion rather than the temperature itself, because I don't think it's melting or anything at 900 Celsius. Which metal melts at so low? I mean, of course, lead and things like that, and tin. Oh, come on, there is still one left.
I just came up from the reactor refueling area. Those idiots have dropped a fuel bundle and broke it. Do you know what that's going to cost?
Yeah, because I'm like crazy trying to refuel the last one. Oh, yeah, it works. Yeah, so this is the last one, and then let's fix all the damage we created around. Okay, now we can...
I just came up from the reactor refueling area.
Yeah, you're right. Increase power to 100. Repairs, I will clean up the dropout fuel bundle. Let's go to the polishers. It's at already 87% and the conductivity is 1, so that's good. It means we didn't reach 100% of the polisher when it starts to spill over all the dirt, and the conductivity is down to 1, so it means we are not creating more contamination of the water. I forgot this channel here. Okay, if you just add one fuel bundle, it seems the spike is not too big, but if you add the 2 in a row and you're already at 100% of neutron flux, is when you create the thermal problem. Okay. Okay, so far so good. Let's see. Let's see, because 88 is quite high. Even if it has still a bit of life left, this polisher, I will just switch off or turn out the polisher, turn in the second one, which is at 0%. It means fresh, new, clean. And you see the conductivity, it's below 1 now, so it seems that using a polisher that is totally clean, it's better than using one that is 88%. So this is a nice feature of the simulator. It means it's not like a switch on off. It starts to spill dirt when it approaches high values. It doesn't need to be like 95%. Okay, and we will regenerate the polisher one. This takes a long time, so do it in advance. Okay, so things look stable. I will go back to the diagram we were looking at before. So let me check. Okay. So yes, as I said, 4 MCPs. Maybe I will move this a bit so we see at the same time the diagram and the main circulation panels in the simulator. So you see the 4 connected to the generator. So I will a bit talk about what was the security test that was done that led to the accident of Chernobyl. So basically, the security test consisted in testing if the inertia of the TG8 generator was enough to run the MCPs for 30 seconds after an emergency shutdown. This was to make sure that after a grid cut off, when the nuclear power plant doesn't have the MCPs 12, 22, 11, and 21, you could be able to cool down the reactor in the first 30 seconds, which are very critical after a shutdown because the reactor is still at a very high thermal power, and you lose these pumps because you don't have external electricity. You will also eventually lose these 4 MCPs because the generator will eventually lose the inertia and you will lose the pressure in the drum. But if the remaining pressure in the drum and the inertia of the rotating turbo generator is enough to fuel these MCPs for 30 seconds, this means that the system is safe even in front of a grid disconnection. So the idea was to switch on MCPs 12, 22, 11, 21, and after the test, either the test was successful or failed, those would continue cooling down the reactor no matter what happened with the test. What happened in reality is that the test was a failure.
Have you looked at the reactor fueling schedule? You've got to get some fuel in this reactor. You're burning up your channels.
I just refueled. Okay. So what happened is that the test was a failure. So the inertia of the turbo generator was not enough to keep these 4 MCPs pumping water through the reactor for 30 seconds, which is the critical time after I shut down. And then because of the hydraulic or thermohydraulic instabilities introduced to the system by the shutdown, by the test, caused a spike in the voiding, which because of the positive void coefficient caused the final critical runaway. This was also because at the time of the accident, the overreactivity surplus, which is how many remaining absorber rods you can still have inserted in the reactor to control the reaction, was just between 6 and 8, while at all moment during the operation should have been 15 to maintain controllability. So yeah, these conjunctions of things is what led to the accident. Okay, so the last comment I will make about this case is, even though hydraulically you have two halves which are totally separated recirculation-wise, from the neutron point of view, they are not independent, because of course this is one single reactor core. It means that the neutrons will go from one side to the other, so you could not run only one half alone and leaving the other one shut down. Maybe you could with a really highly enriched fuel and very low overreaction surplus, but it's not the way it's designed. Neutronics wise, this is one unit. Hydraulics wise, you have two halves connected to different MCPs, and eventually you can also connect to different TG8s or turbo generators, because there is a TG7 and TG8 and TG7, sorry. Yeah. I guess this numbering is because there are 4 units in Chernobyl, so here we are talking about the unit 4, so that's why it's turbo generator 7 and 8. So I think in the unit 3 it must be like 5 and 6 or so. Yeah, okay, so I think we are done with this. We'll switch off this, go back to the simulator, and this is pretty much what I wanted to do in this video. Let's see what can we do. Yeah, maybe I will just stop it here. If you have any suggestions I can do in the next video, or any test, any explanation you want me to do, please write down in the comments. See you in the next video. Bye.